What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome back to Steelers Almighty. Ladies and gentlemen, free agency is here. Free agency is moving fast. Free agency has been fun for the Pittsburgh Steelers. More importantly, for Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I will tell you this right now. The Steelers are a better football team. Now, we're not done. We're not done. We still got plenty more to do. But for a team that notoriously, does nothing in free agency, sits on its hands, waits, sits back, doesn't make a splash. The Steelers, on the first day of legal tampering, have decided, no, we're going to try to get better. We got money, and we want to spend some money. We got a roster that we believe can go win more football games. Now, I'll tell you this. The national media is already, let me just say the Dan Orlovskis of the world are already, the Steelers aren't going to be any better. They're going to be the same team. How? It may turn out to be that way. But if you're telling me that at least offensively, the Steelers aren't better than what they were last year, you're lying. I mean, what? You're just lying. So this is where we're doing, is that we never had a second receiver last year. Boom, we make a move, we get one. Look, I like Kenneth Gainwell. We all like Kenneth Gainwell. But if you're telling me that Rico Dowd isn't a better running back than Kenneth Gainwell, you're kidding yourself. He is, and he's proven it. Matter of fact, what he's done over, you could just say last year, is better than anything that Kenneth Gainwell has done running the football in his career. And it's okay to say that. So I just... You know me. I don't like when people are disingenuous about the Steelers, and they make us fodder for talking points. It's just ridiculous. And, look, we don't have to like Art Rooney II because of the nonsense that he does. But the one thing that he doesn't do is lie. So when he says we're not rebuilding, that's not what we're doing. We have to take him at his word, because the moves that the Pittsburgh Steelers made yesterday, that is not a team that is rebuilding, people. Here's what we're talking about today. Michael Pittman, how does he fit with DK Metcalf? Heard people trying to argue on national television yesterday about the Pittsburgh Steelers on how it's the same and it won't work. I'm like, do you all even watch football? Like, I get you got to have some talking points, but you're trying to tell me they literally said out loud that DK and Michael Pittman were the same player. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. We're going to talk about that. Rico Dowd, he upgrades the running back room for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He does. He just does. We love Kenneth Gainwell. He had a good year last year. Rico Dowd is a better running back. It's okay to say that. You're not being a Kenneth Gainwell hater by saying that. Two things can be true. Gainwell had a great year for us. Rico Dowd upgrades the room. And then Jamel Dean. Look, I'll be the first person to admit I wasn't crazy about the signing because I'd seen what he had done previous years. I know he had a great year last year, and it was absolutely a great year. But then I looked at previous years, and I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't as bad as what I thought. And I think it's something that upgrades the room. So I'm excited. So we're going to talk about that and more. And so I appreciate everybody being in here. We got everybody in here today. First super chat of the day, Greg Saunders. Wide receiver room was great, but A-Rod won't throw to rookies. Well, we don't have a rookie on the roster yet, so we don't have to be negative and even worry about that yet, my man. There's not a rookie wide receiver in the room as of right now. So no need to even worry about that until the time happens. So we got our members in here. Miss Christine, feel like we paid a lot for Dean. I do too. But here's the thing. Well, we'll get to it. But the one thing that you got to remember about in free agency, people, you always overpay. You always overpay, especially on the first day. So if you think, oh man, we're going to get a deal for this guy in free agency, when does that ever happen? On the first day. It never happens. So just a overpay. So appreciate members being in here. Mr. Diamond is in here. Happy for Gainwell. Yep. Torsha is saying Warren can go back to third down back where he's at. But nah, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. I don't think that's going to be the case. But we'll see how it all works out. But I don't think he's going to go back to just being a third down back. And if we're not I mean, he was more than that even the last year that Najee was here. So he was more than that. Milkman, where do you think we go in the first round? Man, we'll get to all of that at another time. Today, I just want to talk about what we're doing. Appreciate the question, though, Milkman. So, again, if you want your comment or question or rant up on the screen, super chats are wide open. If you want to help support the channel, members always get their comments or questions or rants up on the screen. I'll be honest with you, people. I'm fired up. I apologize. I still got homeowners insurance people calling me. Lord have mercy. It was ridiculous yesterday. I almost wanted to kill somebody, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Super chat here by Jay Nizzle. He said, Gainwell much better as a pass catcher, not close. Well, which is why I said running back. And do you need your running back to be that good of a pass catcher now that you have another wide receiver? Sometimes it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to just argue and be negative just to be negative because we're on the internet, which is literally why I said running back. And it isn't close on whether Rico Dowd is better as a running back. But that's that. Greg Saunders became a member, man. We appreciate you, Greg. Thank you for supporting the channel, my man. I appreciate you. Gamer Plush said, are you open to drafting Simpson if we sign A-Rod? No, I wouldn't be, because there's no point to doing that. You know, my whole thing is that if the Steelers sign, and again, that's a conversation for a different day, but if A-Rod comes back, which everything points to A-Rod coming back, take a quarterback in the draft next year when the draft pool for quarterbacks is much better. No need to take Ty Simpson. Unless you think that Ty Simpson is the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you believe that, then take him at 21 and don't bring A-Rod back and just let him play right now. You know, that would be my whole thought. Or if that's what you believe, fine, then cut Will Howard. One of the two things would have to happen. If you think that Ty Simpson is the guy, if you're the Steelers, fine. If you want him to learn a year under Aaron Rodgers, I'm not opposed to that, because I'm not opposed to rookies sitting and learning. I'm definitely not opposed to that at all. But if you are, then cut Will Howard. Draft Simpson, cut Will Howard, and move on. Because there's no reason to have Will Howard on your roster, because why do you need a project as your third quarterback? That doesn't make sense. You can keep Mason Rudolph right where he is, and your quarterback room is good. So either way, that's where I'm at. So I know my phone, I'm getting tired of these people calling me about homeowners insurance. Now, damn it, I told y'all that I wasn't buying none, that your rates weren't any good. You know, or better yet, I made my decision and everybody else can kick rocks. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, super chat here by the Big Reek. I love the Dowdle and Pittman pickup. Absolutely. So, let's get into it. So, Michael Pittman, how does he fit with DK Metcalf? So, yesterday on CBS Sportsline, they were saying, and a guy went on a 3-minute rant about how Michael Pittman and DK Metcalf were the same player. That this doesn't bode well for the Steelers. Michael Pittman and DK Metcalf play the same way. They're both an X. And the first thing I thought was, do they know that there's a flanker position? Because they were little older guys. And I said, do they realize that the flanker position on the football field exists? Or a Z? Like, do they realize that there's a wide receiver on the other side of the field that lines up wide? Do they know that that's out there? Apparently they didn't, because they were basically saying that it's not going to work and that one of the guys was going to get traded. And I was like, oh my God. I go, yes, it was Pete Prisco. Yes, it was Pete Prisco. It wasn't him, but he was co-signing with whoever the black dude on there that was talking. I can't even remember. It just gave me a headache. And I was just like, how in the world do you watch football and think that DK Metcalf, uh, a, a specimen of an athlete with the speed and body type that he has, plays football the same way that Michael Pittman does? And I was just like, when do you see DK Metcalf running underneath routes and going over the middle and just moving the chains a little bit? I'm like, when do you see him doing that? Like, that's literally what Michael Pittman does. He does the dirty work. He outstanding routes. He makes contested catches over the middle in tight spaces. He's not a burner, but he can get open. It's not the same guy. They are just because they're both 6'4". So because they're both 6'4", then they must play football the same way. It's like, did you even do 30 seconds of research before you got on the air and started yapping? 30 seconds. That's all you had to do. And we'll get to it in a little later where your boy Big B didn't do his research, and I did the same thing. But you know what? They're not paying me anywhere between $200,000 and $1 million to get on TV and start yapping. Because if they were doing that, then I would damn sure say, you know what? Let me just look and make sure that these guys aren't the same guy before I go spouting off some stuff. So that's my whole thought. But they are not the same. Michael Pittman will fit in. Because you know who does play like DK Metcalf? Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce would be the equivalent to DK Metcalf. And Michael Pittman fit in with him just fine. Just fine. Now, people could say, well, I mean, you look, Michael Pittman, he had the least number of yards since his rookie year last year. And you're right, he did. But also take into consideration that Daniel Jones was a competent quarterback for about 8 games. Then a couple games later, he got hurt, and then they had to deal with noodle arm Phillip Rivers. So just think about that before you say, well, man, he must be declining. DK Metcalf and I'm even under the thought process of neither one of them is a wide receiver one. Okay, that's fine if that's what you want to believe. I'm not going to fight you on that. So we got a 2A and a 2B. Okay. You can win like that, people. You can win with DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman. You can win. I can tell you that right now. You can win. So, super chat from the Big Reek. He said Howard, Metcalf, Pittman, Austin, and Washington. You forgot Muth. And I'm not sold on Howard. And I'm not sure they're going to bring back Calvin Austin. Although I'm going to talk about that here in a quick minute. Wouldn't mind it. Not at this point. So I just don't understand. And I get it. The Steelers are fodder. And so people want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it makes good content for you. So I understand. But my thing is, he's a perfect complement to what DK Metcalf does. They will complement each other perfectly. One is a route runner that gets open, that can make contested catches and will go over the middle. Another one stretches the field, can get down the field, and open things up. I mean, how many times were we out there screaming about, why don't we do a trips package? The Steelers didn't have the wide receivers to do that. Well, now you got DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman, and let's just say it's Muth or another slot receiver. And we're running trips to one side. What are you going to do? There is so much that the Pittsburgh Steelers can do now that they couldn't do before. So I don't know. And Diamond, you're right. They find anything negative to say about the Steelers because, again, it makes good content. So, and this is also something, I don't disagree. Mike T is gone with all these moves, and you could say, well, Omar Khan, hey, man, stop. You got to stop that. First of all, I'm just not into Mike T bashing because he's gone, but this is a legitimate point. So this is a legitimate point. He's not here. So we'll see what happens. So, Mr. Mack, what's going on, man? Said people are tripping. This offense is looking good. It is. And that's without even knowing who the quarterback is going to be. But Michael Pittman fits in with what the Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to do. He will fit like a glove with DK Metcalf. You need to have complementary receivers. Well, now we have that. We absolutely have it. And guys, before remember we had Pickens and Deontay Johnson. The problem is that Deontay Johnson ran outstanding routes. He did. He was a top 10 route runner at the time. You can't deny it. But the problem was he only caught the ball maybe 65% of the time. Well, I mean, you can have a great route runner, but if you throw it to him and you don't know whether he's going to catch it or not, that's a problem. You don't have those worries with Michael Pittman, ladies and gentlemen. Not to mention, Michael Pittman's going to be a leader. They talk about DK Metcalf being a leader. You got two leaders in the locker room. Hell, I think Michael Pittman's been a team captain for the last 3 years. You're not getting voted team captain without doing things the right way and also being good at your job. Tried to say a Steelers fan yesterday said, well, it's a mid move. What the Steelers did, the move is mid. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it's an upgrade to the Steelers offense. Yeah, but he's just mid. I go, Michael Pittman is mid? I go, when do they give out $19 million a year contracts to somebody who's mid? Now, granted, anybody that's using the word mid is 25, and I just can't relate to that anymore. I just refuse to go down that road. But I was just like, what? I didn't realize that's what people did. I didn't know that the NFL said, you know what? Yeah, this guy's an average football player. We're going to give him $19 million a year because he's average. I didn't realize that was what was going on these days, but I could be wrong. Wesley Simpson, 6 months of being a member. Appreciate you, brother. Said, I'll keep Rodgers for another year at this point. I mean, yeah. It appears that that's what the Steelers are going to do. It appears that they're going to bring back Aaron Rodgers. But I did hear something earlier today. And again, I was listening to ESPN. And Dominique Foxworth actually made a good point here because they brought up Will Howard. And they said, Adam Schefter said that, well, the Steelers believe that Will Howard could possibly be the guy. And Dominique Foxworth said this. He goes, well, if they really believe that Will Howard would be the guy, they would tell Aaron Rodgers, hey, we got a guy. Thank you. It's time to leave. Just like Brett Favre, they did for Aaron Rodgers. They told Brett Favre, it's time for you to leave. Just like they did to Aaron Rodgers because they had Jordan Love. It's time for you to leave. If that's what they believe, then it's time for him to leave. He was there for a year. He learned. Now, I'm not opposed if you want to say he's the future, which I don't believe, but whatever. I don't get to make the decision. Another 2 years, but all I would say is if that's the route the Steelers want to go, and we can get into this at another time because I don't even want to get negative about it, is that there's going to be more talented guys next year. So why? I mean, just a fact. There's going to be more talented guys next year. So if you're going to play Aaron Rodgers this year, the Steelers are probably going to go big game hunting next year to go find a guy, but we'll figure it out. Mr. Mackey said, hey, B, how's it going? Hoping we get Jenkins' thoughts. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a good point. I don't know. Yeah, no, Pittman is nowhere near mediocre. So, nowhere near. And again, you overpay for free agents. I get it. You always do, especially the first day. But, yeah. Now, here's somebody who says that I think Pittman might be DK's replacement. I think we're going to trade DK. May not be right away. May happen during next season. But I leave we're trading DK. Well, I mean, if they trade DK in the offseason next year because it didn't work out, okay. But I can tell you this. If it ends up working out this year for DK, with DK and Michael Pittman, the Steelers would be insane to move on. Or they draft the guy this year and then they can move on from DK Metcalf. You know, we'll see. But they could. But again, if it's working and you're winning, don't just get rid of it. There's no reason to just go get rid of it. It doesn't make sense. So, but we'll see. Yes, Miss Christine, ESPN alert Orlovsky or whatever his name is. ESPN saying Rodgers is definitely coming back. Yes, he said that today. He said 100%, put it in pen, that Aaron Rodgers was coming back. And I'm fine with it at this point. Whether I want it to happen or not, that's what's happening. So that is what's happening. Now let's move on to Rico Dowd. Upgrades the running back room. He does. Now, there was somebody earlier that said that Kenneth Gainwell is a better pass catcher, not close. And my first comment when I was talking about Rico Dowd was Rico Dowd's a better running back. Running the football, if you want to say it's not close, you're right. It's not close. Rico Dowd is a much better runner at running the football than Kenneth Gainwell. He's proven that throughout his career, and so it's not even close. It's literally not close. He's a more powerful runner. And that's also not to say that Dowd can't catch the football. The Steelers had to rely on Kenneth Gainwell last year catching the ball out of the backfield because they didn't have another pass catcher around, or at least they weren't willing to use it in Arthur Smith's offense. That won't be the case this year. They're not going to have to rely on their running back to catch 73 balls. If they do, we're going to be in trouble again. And what the hell did we bring Mike McCarthy for? That would be what I would say. What the hell is the offense doing? How many times did we have to rely on just checking the ball down because guys couldn't get open? It wasn't, hey, we're just going to throw the ball to the back out of the backfield. No, guys couldn't get open. Shouldn't be the case this year. So that's my whole thing. I love it. Big Show, he says, yo, Big B, they might be jumping ahead a bit, but we're just rolling with Ramsey at safety. Sign another quarterback makes it look that way. It jumping ahead a little bit, that's fine. We'll get to it, but probably. Because I got some ideas on what the Steelers may do, and I'll see if you guys agree. Appreciate the support, Big Show. But, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. So, But, yeah, I like the Rico Dowd Dowdle. That signing, it surprised me a little bit. But, I mean, he's a good running back. He's good for the room, And yeah, Miss Christine, bad for Caleb Johnson. You're right. But the Steelers will tell you. You know, teams will usually tell you what they think of a guy. Because my thought process going into this was we're not going to sign Gainwell back. Okay, fine. We're going to move on. And then we're basically going to draft a guy and let Caleb Johnson and a rookie battle it out to see who's going to be running back number 2. Well, the Steelers said absolutely not. We're not going to do that. We've got room. We want to get this guy in here. That tells you a lot about what they think about Caleb Johnson. Now, there'll be some that say we don't know anything about Caleb Johnson because he never got an opportunity. And you would be 100% right. 100% right. We never got to see what he could do. But the Steelers don't want you to see. That would be my whole thing. The Steelers are saying, upgrade. We're going to upgrade the room. So versus just drafting a rookie and let them battle it out. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We know we got Jaylen Warren, but we also know that Jaylen Warren is not a 30-touch-a-game guy. And don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if Rico Dowdle is the starting running back week 1. Don't be surprised. I'm just telling you right now. Don't be surprised. And what I would also caution people, now, I don't tell you how to fan. I'm never going to tell you that. But I'm just saying be a fan of the Steelers versus a fan of players. And what I mean by that is if they're starting Rico Dowdle over Jaylen Warren, it's because what he does and what they're wanting to do makes him better in that offense. So while Jaylen Warren, he got drafted by the Steelers, he's been here for a while. Do you care more about that? Or do you care more about playing the best player? Because you know me and you know my thoughts. The best player, I don't care. I don't care who it is. I literally don't care. That's all I'm saying. Do not care. So that's all I'm saying. Again, I'm not trying to tell you how to fan. All I'm saying is just giving a suggestion. Because number one, don't be surprised if you see that happen. And number two, don't be mad at the coaches if Dowd happens to be better and the guy they want to put out there. Because I just want to win. And I want the best players for whatever we're trying to do to be out there. And hell, that could be snap to snap for me. I don't care if one play they think Warren's the best guy, the next play that we think Dowdle is the next guy. Whatever. So that's all I'm saying is just don't be surprised if you see that happen. Don't be surprised. So Nate Hobbs just got released by the Packers, Big B. He's injury prone, but has the best years with Graham in Vegas before signing a big deal with the Packers last year. Might make a move because I believe that Nate Hobbs, if I'm not mistaken, isn't he a nickel corner? Because if he is, I just don't know. I don't know. We're going to talk about corner. Thanks for subscribing. But we're going to talk about corner here in a minute, but that might make some sense. So, but we're just talking about running backs. Rico Dowd is good, ladies and gentlemen. So just keep in mind that he is a good running back and he's got good hands. So saying that Gainwell is a better running or a better pass catcher, it's just because they threw the ball to him out of the backfield. And he is a good pass catcher, but it doesn't mean Dowd can't do it. He did it in Dallas the year before, and he did it in Carolina last year. Hell, if I'm thinking, let me look this up. Yeah, Dowd, 2, 3. He was the fourth leading receiver as far as yards. He had 39 catches. I mean, how many did Jaylen Warren have? Didn't he have 38? So come on, man. What are we doing? So Mike in Texas said, Big B, are you disappointed we didn't land Devin Lloyd? No, because I didn't think that was in the play. I didn't think that was in the cards for the Steelers. I didn't think that was ever going to be in the cards for us. So no. And it wasn't. Don't get me wrong. The Steelers got to get an inside linebacker. Cole Holcomb is a great depth piece, but he's not a starter. So he's not a starter. Steven Stroud said, "Good morning, Big B. You said we wouldn't pay two backs $7 million a year. Well, technically, we're not. Technically, we're only paying 13.5 for two running backs. So technically, we're not at 14. But no, you're right. I didn't think we would. I didn't think we would at all. But the Steelers put an emphasis on it, and I said it before, it's an upgrade. And I'm not going to back off of that. That's not me just being a fan of the Steelers. Rico Dowd is a better running back than Kenneth Gainwell. And that doesn't mean that Gainwell's bad. I'm not part of the internet tribe that says you have to badmouth somebody else because you believe somebody else is better. Two things can obviously be true. Just like saying, yeah, man, I'm a Walter Payton fan. I think he's the greatest, but Jim Brown sucked. What? No. So that's my whole thing. We'll see. But the running back room got better. There's no doubt about it. The running back room definitely got better. So 2 new members. Scrap, what's going on, man? We appreciate your support. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome him aboard, people. And Corey Blackburn just became a member. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I tell you what, y'all are just joining the channel and becoming members. I tell you right now, the chat, we get wild. The chat is informed. The chat has a lot of fun. The Steelers Almighty family, we talk football. We argue. We get mad at each other. We love each other. It's a good time, man. But we talk real football. Steven Stroud says, not better, just different, very different. No, I don't think so. I disagree. I think Rico Dowdle is better than Kenneth Gainwell. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Different, yeah, but I think he's better. I just think he's a better overall running back. Said Jay Gordon says, I'm not impressed with any of these moves. They all scream 10-7, not moving the needle at all. This is the problem when you make the money guy the GM. Well, Jay Gordon, the Steelers are a better football team today than they were yesterday at this time. Now, just because you don't like the moves doesn't mean the Steelers aren't better. So I guess your thing is you're wanting to complain? Like you're wanting to be mad? You want to get on the internet and be mad about it, Jay. I get it. But if you say that the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't better today than what they were yesterday, and what time is it? 9:37 yesterday, the Steelers are 100% better. They absolutely are a better football team. Oh, and by the way, it's just day one. Like, don't they have an opportunity to get even more better? But, yeah, I would just say you would be wrong. You can feel that way. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. We appreciate your support, bro. But you would be wrong. The Steelers are a better football team today than they were yesterday. And there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So whether you're impressed or not, you're entitled to your opinion, and we respect it. But we can also tell you that you're wrong. So we can tell you that you're wrong. So that's how I'm with it. Question, the big reek. How do you feel about trading Queen for a pick? That seems that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do. And I'm okay with it. You can trade Patrick Queen. That's fine. Move on. And then, well, who's the replacement? Well, you can draft a replacement. Like, it's almost like this people think that if Patrick Queen's not on the roster, that the Steelers are just going to say, we're not going to have another inside linebacker, that it's not going to exist. You know what? We don't have a quarterback right now, so we're just not going to have one on the team this year. We're not going to do it. We're going to trade our inside linebacker, and we're just not going. And I'm not saying you're saying that, Big Reek, because you didn't. But people are just like, hey, man, we're just not going to replace him. We're not going to do anything. I'm like, geez, what are you talking about? Like, the Steelers are going – I mean, do they – first of all, are we not allowed to make moves to try to get better? Oh, man. Oh, well. Oh, well. Different regime, Torsia. That was last year. Different regime. So, that was last year. But we'll see. Is Dobbs available? No. Dobbs went to and if you're talking about Romeo Dobbs, yeah, he went to the Bills. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Let's move on, though. Let's move on. And let's talk about Jamel Dean. Look, I'll be the first person to tell you, I was out on the Jamel Dean sign. I was just like, man, this guy is your prototypical, have a good contract year, and then what? I was that guy. I was like, man, I don't know. And then I did my 30 seconds of research. And then I'm like, well, hell, Big B, you're wrong. And you know me, if I'm wrong, I'll be more than happy to tell you that I'm wrong. I'm like, this guy's not bad. Matter of fact, he's better than not bad. He's pretty good. Now, I'm not saying that he's this locked down corner, but he's better than Darius Slay. You know, it's an upgrade to the wide receiver room. I think he was better than James Pierre. You know, same age. And I think that was part of the reason why I was a little iffy on the signing. We gave a 3-year, $30+ million deal to a guy that's 29 years old, but he's pretty good. He's pretty good, man. I like it. I like the signing. You know, and they brought back Asante Samuel Jr., but apparently the Steelers aren't sold that he can be the starter, because if you were, number one, you probably would have given him starter money, and number two, you don't make this signing. That would be my whole thing. So I just, that's my thing. So I like it. And again, I argued on Twitter, like I was wrong. Jamel Dean is a good football player, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I don't have any problem with that. So, no problems with that. But that's my thinking. That is my thinking. But we'll see. We will see. Somebody said that Romeo Dobbs didn't go to the Bills. He didn't go to the Bills? Hell, that got blown up on my timeline yesterday about Romeo Dobbs going to the Bills. Again, I may be wrong, but I wasn't paying attention to the Bills. And I'll be honest with you, after Michael Pittman, I stopped even paying attention to Romeo Dobbs. So, no, he didn't go to the Bills. They're talking about him. Yeah, I saw that he signed for 3 years, $99 million, and I was like, ooh, okay, well, good for him. So he's still available, but I wouldn't think that the Steelers are going to. Yeah, Josh Dobbs went to the Bills. Yeah. I was like, I wouldn't think that the Steelers are going to be in on the Romeo Dobbs thing. I don't think that at all. I don't. I mean, they could be, but I think the Steelers are going to go wide. They're going to probably get another wide receiver in free agency, but it's going to be a low hanging fruit, or a lower tiered free agent wide receiver. So lower tiered. It's wild. Somebody says you didn't see that anywhere. How can somebody tell me what I did or didn't see? That's funny, but you know how people are. Appreciate the super chat, Wesley. So, but Jamel Dean is a good player. That's an upgrade for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We did good. I like it. So, I think the Steelers, look, I like the moves that the Pittsburgh Steelers made. Again, this is not a team that sometimes you got to listen to people. Sometimes you got to listen to what they tell you and just believe them. Whether we like Art Rooney II or not, he told us that we weren't going to rebuild. So he told us that. And it doesn't appear that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in any mood to do that at all. Not at all. Big B, we're going to get Jalen Tolbert in free agency because he's another Mike McCarthy Cowboy guy. And you're right, because this past year, Jalen Tolbert took a back. But the year before, when Mike McCarthy was there, he had a good year for him. He had a good year. So I don't think they have to go crazy as far as signing him. But he had another good year for him. And again, you can't, go get pass catchers. And I think he can help the Steelers. Again, you're not going to pay the guy $10 million a year or anything like that. You might sign him for two years, $10 million. But yeah, you don't have to go berserk for Jalen Tolbert. Go get you 2 wide receivers in the draft. Then the Steelers have rebuilt their wide receiver room. That's my whole thing. And here, Mike says, I would still go for Dobbs unless pricey. He's a good possession receiver and a route runner. He is, but I think the dollar amount is going to price it. Because remember, you're paying DK 30. You're paying Michael Pittman 20. If you go get another free agent wide receiver, even on the low end, that's another 5. That's a lot of money in the wide receiver room. Not saying that we can't afford it. I'm just saying that's a lot of cash. It's a lot of cash. But I'd rather spend it there. I'd rather spend it there than anywhere else. So, day one, free agency, Steelers are at the top of the heap. Steelers are at the top of the heap. So, nope, CID hadn't gotten it done with the Bills. I probably saw, not probably, I know I saw fake news. Here's a good point, Mr. Dobbs. Big B, we screamed at the Steelers for not getting a young corner last year. They actually did it this year. Well, is 29 young? That's the only thing I'm saying. Is 29 young? I guess when you compare it to what the Steelers had done in free agency previously with 33 and 34-year-olds, I guess we would say 29 is young. But you are right. We were furious. I know me and you specifically, Mr. Dodd, were furious that is there a reason we won't go get a young corner? We just wouldn't do it. So that's the whole thing. And that's the whole thing, Wolverine. I question it just because he's 29, but when you really break it down in layman's terms, it's probably going to end up being a 2-year deal. I mean, if he's playing really well, okay, maybe we keep that 3rd year, but it's probably a 2-year deal, or maybe it is 3 years, and then we go. But Joey Porter Jr. and Jamel Dean as your corners, your defensive secondary is pretty good. Not to mention, your 3rd is Asante Samuel Jr., and your 4th is Brandon Eccles. Your cornerback room is looking pretty good, especially if you go draft the guy. Yeah. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. You got a better cornerback room. So you got a better cornerback room. Are there any good safety free agents? Yeah. Brisker is available. The only thing is, now, chat, I need you guys to chime in. First super chat from Mr. Wesley Simpson. Some of these fans don't watch film. We got better. Yeah, everybody can't watch film, so I'm not going to pin it on that. But I think some people just are so jaded. He just wants they just want to be negative before they actually know. I'm guilty of that sometimes too. Like I said, I was guilty of it yesterday talking about Dean. I first thought I was like, yeah, he had a good contract year, but what was it previous? Well, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. So I get it. Steeler Lee, that's funny. He said 29 ain't young, but it's seasoned. Got a little seasoning salt on that. I like that. I like it. So let me ask you guys, man. Okay. So safety position. Pittsburgh Steelers got Deshaun Elliott. Pittsburgh Steelers, it appears Jalen Ramsey is going to be moved to full-time safety. If not, I just don't know what the Steelers are doing. Now, let's just say the Steelers end up getting a deal done with Brisker. Well, you're paying Jalen Ramsey $19 million. You're probably going to have to pay Brisker anywhere between 10 and 12. So now you're talking, and then throw Deshaun Elliott in there, that's 6.2. You're almost at $40 million at safety. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. Now, if my whole thing is if you ask Jalen Ramsey to take a pay cut, okay. You make Jalen Ramsey restructure, okay. And maybe Jalen Ramsey does that because he knows, first of all, he doesn't have any more guaranteed money, and he knows if you don't take a pay cut, nobody else is going to give you $19 million. So do you want to be in Pittsburgh or do you not want to be here? And maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But my whole thing is, if there's no guaranteed money, tell Jalen Ramsey, hey, man, we want – now, only if you sign Brisker. If you sign Brisker, Jalen, we want you, but you got to take a huge pay cut, bro. In the $7 to $8 million a year range, taking a pay cut. We understand if you don't want to do that, but that's all we got for you. That's all we got. You know, and maybe they're keeping Jalen Ramsey around to see if they do anything in free agency or they do anything in the draft. If they do, Jalen Ramsey may be moved. Because if you remember, the Steelers didn't get Ramsey until after the draft last year. So I think it was after the draft. Maybe it was after the first part of free agency. I can't remember. But either way, it is that's a lot of money to be tied up in your safety room. That's a lot of money. And I'm just not sure that you need to pay that. And yes, the draft class is absolutely good for safety this year. Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be first round either. Draft class is absolutely good. So Jay Gordon says, who do we beat in the playoffs with these guys? So we keep getting these older wide receivers and DBs. The draft the same Khan needs to kill it. Oh, so we got a bunch of old guys and men guys? Yeah, Jay Gordon, we appreciate the super chats, but we've identified you as that fan that we're talking about. Just never going to be happy. Never going to be happy. Like, the Steelers got better? No, they didn't. Nah, they're not any better. Roar! They stink. Roar! Oh, okay. 29 all of a sudden is old. Michael Pittman's 28, but he's old. Mike, the number just keeps going down and down and down and down for guys. Like, first it was 34, 35. Then it was 32. Then it was 30. Now 28. 28, and you're over the hill. Next is, hey, man, once your first contract is up, you're finished. That's what it's going to eventually get to. Hey, you're 25 years old. You're over the hill. You are over the hill. Now, Mr. Dodd, there's no need to spend that much money at safety. No. Especially when the draft has safeties that you can get. That's all. Safety that you can get. Now, I don't get caught up, and I agree with you, Ronnie, as far as Queen not being a real green dot, but I don't get caught up in green dot linebacker and who's getting guys. You need that person, don't get me wrong, but if you're not a green dot linebacker and you can play the position, maybe you just can't get guys lined up. Maybe you aren't good at that responsibility. I would rather the Steelers have a guy that doesn't have to get everybody lined up and be the green dot, but can play the hell out of the linebacker position. So I don't get too caught up in that. Do you need somebody? Of course you do. But I'm not the guy that thinks that your best linebacker has to be the guy that gets everybody lined up. I don't think it has to be that. Some guys are just good at, you know what? Just give me the play. I'll diagnose the coverage in the play, and I'll go run around and go make a bunch of tackles. I'm not good at getting everybody lined up. I'm okay if that's your best linebacker. I'm okay with that. Don't get me wrong. We definitely need a green dot linebacker, but I don't think it has to be your best guy. I just don't. And here's another thing, Johnny Valencia. That's a great point. Say, you guys got Pittman for free. Why cry? Exactly. I mean, literally, the Steelers got Michael Pittman Jr., and all we had to do was swap a 6th-round pick for a 7th-round pick. That's it. And we gave him a new deal, which he was going to get. So, oh, man. We need receivers. We get a receiver, and now we're whining, well, he's 28. He's over the hill. What? My goodness. So, Greg Saunders said, B, you rather get a right guard in the draft or a free agency? Well, left guard is what I would get, and I don't care, to be honest with you. Well, I take that back. I do care. To answer your question, I think I would like it if we went in the draft because, I talked about this with somebody on Twitter yesterday, is that I'm not sure, like, you can't pay everybody, because we're going to have some linemen come up for new contracts here pretty soon. Zach Frazier, McCormick, Faetanu, like, these guys are going to end up coming up for new contracts. And while you're not paying a quarterback, okay, fine. But sooner or later, you'll have to. Like, you can't pay your entire offensive line. There's going to be at least one position that is going to get churned over. Do you want that to be your left guard if you go get one of the best ones in the draft? Or are you saying that Mason McCormick has earned that right? I think this year is going to be a big year for Mason McCormick. Because, again, now you got to decide after this year, do you want to extend him? Because you're going to extend Zach Frazier. The Steelers aren't going to make the same mistake that the Baltimore Ravens did and let go of their center. We're not going to do that, okay? We're not going to do that. So we're not going to make that same mistake. So as long as that doesn't happen, which I don't think it's going to, they're going to pay Frazier. So then it's like, and you're going to pay Faetanu as long as he keeps progressing like he did last year. Okay. Now you got to decide at left tackle. That's a different conversation. But you can't pay everybody. You can't pay everybody. So you just got to decide which guard position is going to be one that you churn over. You know who did it? is the Chiefs. Remember, the Chiefs had Creed Humphrey at center, Trey Smith at right guard, and Tooney at left guard, and they were really good. Really good. But then they said, okay, we're going to trade Tooney away. This past year, their offensive line wasn't quite as good. So, now granted, their tackles, that's a different conversation, but you got to have guys. And I'm just not sure what you do. Like I said, I think this is a gigantic year for Mason McCormick. So, big, big year. Big year. So, Wolverine saying, no way Isaac was 86.7. He was below average, or PFF. And I tell people, and, all the time, PFF is a good tool. It's a good analytical tool. But don't use PFF for your football knowledge, guys. Don't. You guys know football. Just watch it. And like I said, PFF is a good tool, and it helps, and they do good stuff. I'm not saying they're terrible, because that's not true. But you know who's better at understanding football? You are. Just watch with your eyes. You see what's going on. Did a guy get beat? Did he keep his guy from making the play? Or, hey, the guy beat him, but because the play went backside, he didn't make the tackle or something of that nature. There's so many different things with PFF that are different. But Isaac went and got paid good money. He went and got paid good money. But either way, I like what the Steelers did in day one. They were aggressive. They went and upgraded positions that needed to be upgraded. I mean, had the Steelers done nothing, I know there's a couple people in here that are, well, I hate the moves. We're not any better. Had they done nothing, what would the Steelers be? Like, they got better. They upgraded in positions that they needed to upgrade. Is that not making your team better? Or should they have just spent all their money? You look at what the Raiders did and say, well, the Steelers didn't do that. Well, first of all, the Raiders have been bad for 2 decades. That's number one. Number two, the Raiders had $102 million in cap space to spend. $102 million. And they're not done. So, yes, the Raiders are going to do more than what the Steelers did. But are you willing to sacrifice 2 decades of just being shitty? I'm guessing not. Oh, and by the way, do we know that the Raiders are going to be better? For instance, who the hell is the Raiders quarterback right now? Well, they're going to draft Mendoza. Do we know that Mendoza is going to be good? No, we don't. So I would relax on what everybody else did and just say, hey, our team at the end of last year, our team right now, 3 months later, is better than what it was at the end of last year. That is the difference. So that is the difference. Exactly. You knew the Raiders were going to spend all that money. You knew it. Yes, Montre. You knew they were going to spend. Well, what do you think? They were just going to sit on $102 million? Of course. They were going to spend it. They were going to spend it. And they're going, and maybe they do get better. Maybe they do. Great. But so did we. So did we. Steelers got better. The Steelers got better. That's all I'm saying. We're a better football team. We have better football players today than what we did at the end of last year. That's where I'm at with it. And it's day one. It's day one. So, Now, this is a good point. Some people prefer splash over substance. Well, And even with that, I would say the Steelers made a splash. I know Michael Pittman Jr. isn't at the top of the food chain when it comes to wide receivers, but Michael Pittman Jr. is really good. He is. You know, he's not at the bottom of the number 2 wide receivers in the National Football League. He isn't that. He isn't. Regardless of what anybody's going to try to tell you, he isn't that. That's just not true. So I just think that the Steelers got better. And, you know, I'm not going to let anybody take my joy away. Little victories at a time. Little bit at a time. Yesterday, we got better. Who knows what today will bring? So, who knows what today will bring? So, Sash says, Big B, Jamel Dean, contract details are out. $5.5 million cap hit in 2026. Can save $11 million if we cut him before the 2028 season. Really good contract by Khan. That's why I said that it's really a 2-year deal. And if he plays well, okay, maybe we keep him the last year. But it's really just a 2-year deal. Okay. But he's a better player than what I initially thought. So that's my whole thing. He is a better football player than what I thought. And y'all know me. I can tell you when I'm wrong. I initially thought, man, 29, contract year, phenom, not great. I was wrong. I'm not saying he's the best in the league. But the combination that the Pittsburgh Steelers have right now with him and Joey Porter Jr., they got a good combination. So, Mike in Texas, you're exactly right. We could have all pros at every position. There'd still be people that wouldn't be happy. I've said this a million times, and this is not just Steeler fans. This is just people in general. I could walk up to them and give them $1 million, cash money, $1 million. Half the people would be pissed off because I didn't deposit it in their bank account and I gave them cash. So, I mean, when you look at the world, and that's the way I've looked at the world for a long time. When you look at the world like that, you're like, okay, I get it. Because that's exactly what it is. The Steelers got better, and people are like, well, it's not good enough. We didn't make a splash. Who can we beat? Hell, we're not ready to play football yet. Can we get to the draft? Can we just get to the second day of free agency? Golly, before the negativity. We didn't do anything. Rawr. I know our wide receiver room is much better, but didn't do anything. We reaffirmed our secondary. We got better there. We got better in the running back room. We just had a good day, but nope, we're not any good. We're terrible. Rawr. Oh, my God. But it is what it is. It is what it is. See, this is what I'm talking about. See? He didn't want the $1 million. He wanted it in Bitcoin. See what I'm talking about? I love it. I love it. But yeah, man, we're better today than we were yesterday. And that's the main thing. We got to keep going. We can't stop. This was just a start. Now, I will tell you this. If we don't hear anything else about the Steelers and free agency, then I'm going to be pissed. Because the Steelers roster has holes, and they need to be filled. And you can do a lot of that in free agency. Don't be sitting back on your laurels thinking, okay, we did it first day, we're done. Keep going. You got money to spend. Go spend it. You got money to spend, damn it. Go spend the money. So I appreciate you all. That's what I got for you guys today. Again, just like yesterday, we'll keep it fluid. If the Steelers do anything, look for a town hall coming from me and Steelers Almighty. Big show tonight with me and Big G. I can just imagine what that show is going to be like. Big G's been giddy for the last 24 hours. So, but I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you all. As always, remember, like, follow, subscribe. If you haven't already, hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Steelers Almighty content comes out. Tonight, big show, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Make sure you guys are there. It's going to be a great time. I got a feeling it's going to be a great show. You guys don't want to miss that one. Appreciate you guys for being here. Until next time, aloha.